Hi, my name is Jenny Brhel with Nebraska Extension, and today's agronomy update is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Board. So today we're out here in a field in the Gresham, Nebraska area. This is one of our on-farm research fields. The Nebraska Soybean Board partners with Nebraska On-Farm Research on these studies. We had started this spring pretty dry and warm, and so we had quite a few soybeans in this area of the state that were planted in a decent time, late April through early May. And since then we've been blessed with some rainfall, including even last night, so it's pretty muddy in the field today, but we're grateful for all the rain that we're receiving. Soybeans right now are in that V2 to V3 stage. Early on in the season, we can see some diseases like seedling diseases, and those would be caused by Phytophthora or Pythium. Some things that our farmers are looking at or concerned about include sudden death syndrome, which we usually don't start seeing until the reproductive stages. White mold is another one that we tend to have in this area of the state, pretty heavy. And because of those diseases, we have an increasing number of growers, like this grower, who are using a systems approach. So behind me you can see this grower planted his soybeans green into cereal rye. This grower is trying to use the systems approach and not only using chemical seed treatments on his seed, but looking at what are the other things he can do in his field to help reduce disease, as well as reduce Palmer amaranth, which is a problem weed in our area of the state. It takes a different mindset, and it takes management in some ways to, if you're going to plant either spring oats before soybeans or if you're going to plant cereal rye in the fall. So for our non-irrigated producers, a trade-off there is they're concerned about moisture and that small grain taking moisture from that growing soybean crop. Some other benefits of using the small grain is that in this case the grower didn't have to use as much herbicide on the pre side of it. So he could use the small grain as his basically weed control, and then once he burned it down, he doesn't have to use as much herbicide in the system. We do have 7 site years of on-farm research looking at different seed treatments, and then this year we're going to have a number of additional ones from this area of the state. So we look forward to sharing that research this winter. The research results are found at our On-Farm Research website from the university. You can also see not only the results from the book, but there's also a searchable database on that site as well. If you were to see soybean plants that were just dying, that had essentially no roots and they were rotted off, this area of the stem being mushy or anything like that, those are things that we get concerned about for either Phytophthora or Pythium. In those cases, you can send samples into the Plant and Pest Diagnostic Lab, depending on the stand in the field. If it's just an area of the field that's not very well drained, if it's the majority of the field because it's maybe a low field that's ponding. In those cases, we would typically see a replant situation. And again, we would recommend a fungicide seed treatment on those. If you have a traditional history of Pythium and Phytophthora, our extension plant pathologists have recommended an increased rate of metalaxyl and mefenoxam on those seeds just to help overcome the pathogens in those cases. Everything we change on the management side in one area affects everything else we do. So as we think about a system, how can we put measures in place that are benefiting us for the majority of our system, and thinking about how one management decision impacts something else that we may be doing as well. Thanks for watching today's agronomy update brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Board.